This is the homeschool portfolio review for Sam Henderson for the school year 2020-2021. So I'm going to go through the tabs in his binder, the book and material list, the log, and then work samples for math and work samples for his language arts. Okay, so the book and material list I broke down into curriculum that we used: Saxon Math 1, Explode the Code, Beautiful Feet books, U.S. History, the first half, Story of the World, Volume 1, the first half, Life of Fred Apples, and First Language Lessons. Then we have some other categories I just broke out. We have our Bible section, some field trips that he went on. He went to the zoo in September, some hiking field trips, Rock Springs and Gatorland in July. And then some of the media that we used, the podcast Smash Boom Best, and then the podcast Circle Round, and then the movie The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which we watched after we had read the book. So then these are the read alouds, combination of chapter books, some curriculum books, and picture books. Then we have, these are the readers, the ones that he read aloud to me. We started off doing the Dr. Seuss stuff and some of the storybook stuff, and then we ended the year with me finally figuring out that he doesn't really like storybooks, and he is now reading the dictionary to me, the Sesame Street Dictionary, and he loves it. And then I broke out some of the other read alouds we were doing into the history and science categories, just so I could keep track. The science read alouds, and then the first half of the American history read alouds, and the supplemental picture books we used for Story of the World Volume 1. So then we're going to go through the log. So I have one page for each week, the days across the top, and then I split the subjects out: math, reading that he reads to me, read aloud I read to him, the language arts, and then any science or history breakout read alouds. So then I kind of just shorthanded it with knowing that I was using Saxon and just what number lesson we were on and which part we were doing. And Explode the Code I sometimes abbreviated to ETC. And then usually on Thursdays we would have a park day where we got together with our other homeschool friends. So usually on Thursday there won't be any school. Also, he really enjoyed geography and looking at maps. So we have in the science and history, I also included some capital flashcard drills and work that we did where he would memorize the state capitals and some country capitals and read them back to me and point them out to me on a map and stuff like that. So abbreviated FLL is the first language lessons. mid-July. And we are going to move on to the work samples. So the first one is math. When we turned in his letter of intent at the beginning of the year, he had been through the first 10 lessons of Saxon Math 1 already, so we started the year on 11. And here is 12. And 13. And 14. And then every 5 lessons there's an assessment. So here's his assessment for lesson 15. Okay, and then we move on to the beginning of the year. So we're at February 1st. He's on lesson 32. And by that lesson, we've started adding some problem sets. $33. And then here's the assessment for 35. So another little quiz. And then at the end of the year, beginning of June, we are on lesson 48. And then we ended the year at the assessment for lesson 50. All right, so then we're moving on to the language arts work samples. These will mostly be Explode the Code. So this is the pre-test at the beginning of the year before book 1. You can see his pencil circling. And then lesson 1. So I'm not pushing too hard on handwriting. He doesn't like it. So as long as I can understand what he's trying to write, I'm not pushing too hard. When he gets a little older, we'll try and work on that. Mostly I just want to know if he knows the spelling of the words. And then here is a extra letter practice sheet that he did in September. And now we're moving on to lesson 2. All right, and so now this is the middle of the year sample. In January, he's on book 1, lesson 8. Lesson 10 for book 1. Lesson 11. And then the book 1 post-test in February 15th. And then so the end of the year in June, we're on book 3, lesson 3. handwriting's getting a little better. I finally got him to at least do lowercase e's, but he is not a fan of lowercase. The last lesson on July 13th, lesson 5. And that is the last work sample. I have a picture of him right here after he took his lesson 50 math test, and I told him that that would complete kindergarten for him, so he's happy.